All right, today's the 27th of November. And we have a new update available. Let's look at this. This is the final exam schedule. You can find this on the college website. I just searched for final exam and it found the link for me. So let's look here and see what we got. The way you read this is classes, day classes held on Monday, Wednesday, and then these are the times that the class ordinarily meets, and then this is the time of the final. If you're new to college, during finals week, you don't go to your regular classes. You just go take your finals. Here's Tuesday, Thursday classes. So we're here at 2:30. So according to this, we should take, there's two there. Take one of each. There's a table. There was a sheet of tables. I don't know where it went. So anyway, we're scheduled for 2:30 to 4:20 on Tuesday. Now, the other time slot that somebody would be using that would be a 2:30 class.
So do we come here to take our test?
Yeah. Here's what I was going to say. Let's see. There is no Thursday. Well, here's what I was trying to figure out. I'm okay. Obviously, I can do this time slot. It's not that big a deal. But I don't see anything else scheduled this time slot on Thursday. So what I'm asking you, and you don't have to tell me today, we'll talk about it Thursday. If y'all want to, we can take this 2:30 on Thursday and have a study session here. But y'all decide and we'll vote on this Thursday. Okay?
So next Tuesday have a study session and then take the test on next Thursday?
Yeah. 2:30. Same time. The big question is, does anybody have anything going on 2:30 next Thursday? And there's apparently no time slot that a normally scheduled class would be using that time slot. Anyway, y'all think about that. All right. So today I've given you a final exam study guide. And so where y'all want to start? We probably should go back and start at the back because y'all haven't seen these problems before. Like 11 and 12. So nothing says we have to work these in order. Let's work 11 and 12. I did put a few homework problems out there, and they are very few because I can't find anything I like. So I think I don't know if there's even 2 problems for each chapter. Sorry, I searched through everything that's online. Well, it's the same things in your book. Time I work a couple problems in class, and then, some of the stuff we skip because I think it's not that big a deal. Okay, so let's look at 11. So this is final exam study guide number 11. Okay, that's what it is. So you'll notice it says here, this is from chapter 14. Ralph buys a new RV. $57,000. I got better things to do with my money. He pays $12,000 down. What are his monthly payments? on a 7.5% 5-year loan. And look, it even tells you what table to use. How cool is that? So what are we going to do first? Yep. So 57,000 list minus $12,000 down. I'd like to have $12,000 to put down on anything. $45,000, and this is the amount to be what? To be financed. Now, I don't have my book open. Y'all tell me what to do next.
Next, you have to find the total monthly payment.
Isn't there some intermediate step there? You divide this 45,000 by something.
List price, subtract.
So what do you divide it by?
The
Well, see, the table is in terms of something. 14.2, wasn't it?
mm-hmm.
You tell us about the time for the semester to end. Look at my stuff I got in my book. That's how you know you're about done. It's when you get so many papers you can't carry them. I can't even get that out of the book. $14.2, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
Look at the top, at the heading of that table. What's it say? Yeah, the caption at the top. 14.2. Where are you at 12.1?
The beginning of the thing.
No. This one you're out to get out of the book.
Well, I
Oh.
forgot my book. I forgot my whole book back.
I don't know if it's in this other book or not. Yeah, here you go. It's on page 45 if you're using this book. Pretty sure. Yeah, here. So what I wanted you to see is you read above the table there, it says, you need one too? I said take two. I said take one of each. Well, but you took two of something because we need one more set.
I took this one.
Yeah.
and then
But she only took
I
the
ripped
front
the
page.
page off of that 'cause I
I
thought,
thought it was weird. She said to hold this and she tore the front page off and went on back. I didn't know what was going on. I thought I was missing something, so.
now look over here and they're flipping through a big package.
Well, Gretchen, you made 10 of those tables, didn't you? Well, they're all gone and we're missing one student. I don't understand that. Oh, well, we'll find something. Anyway, look at above the table, 14.2, it says loan amortization table, monthly payment per what?
$1,000.
Per $1,000.
To pay principal and interest.
What is connected? Oh. She's just being.
Sure. Gotta make sure everything's right. And now it's all connected, I don't have to worry about losing that page because I would have lost that page.
Okay, so the table is in terms of $1,000 increments, so what do we have to do?
Divide the 45.
Now, what is this 45 really? Ultimately, we're going to use this as a multiplier, aren't we? Okay, so make a little note here. Will be used. That was pretty spastic there, wasn't it? As multiplier. Okay. Now, what's next? There's a step 1, 2, 3, 4 there. On page 354, guess what? We just did step 1. Although really, I think calculating the amount to be financed should be step 1. Okay? So we'll call that step 0. Step 2 says what?
You find it.
Look up the rate, and that's your percentage, and the number of months in the table, and at the intersection, you get a table factor showing the monthly payments per or for a $1,000 increment. So we were given here, it was 7.5, wasn't it? 7.5%. How long?
5 years.
Now, is the table in terms of years?
No.
It's in terms of months. 5 years is how many months? 5 times 12 is 60. So let's look those two things up and find the table factor at the intersection, and that is what?
It's in the book.
Hmm?
In the book right here.
No. Yeah, the little booklet I gave you, it's in there.
So this one like this.
Top of the, no, what, look, I give it to you on the right page. The right-hand side at the very top. That's it.
20.04.
That's what I got. Did everybody see that?
No.
Why not?
Is it in this?
No.
That's why. I didn't bring my little book.
No, it's in this one. Yeah, it's in like
Here, I got an extra copy.
page 45.
I'm sorry, I used to forget my stuff.
Well, I didn't realize that it was actually in this little book. Well, past a certain point, it's all jumbled up. And I went right to it, the other book.
Page 45.
Come here and get this. Page 45.
What is in this one?
I don't think these books are alike. I think it's on 44 in this book. Share with Braylon.
Where's fire insurance? I ain't know.
Well, Alyssa, you need a book, Alyssa? Okay. So is everybody covered?
Yeah.
Okay. So I got 20.4. So now we're ready for step 3, according to the book, aren't we? Step 3 says what? Multiply step 1 by step 2. Told you we'd use that again. So this is the monthly payment, or you can also refer to this as the bad news. 60, I should do this in order, I guess. It's going to be 45, 'cause that's the number of thousands we have. And then our table factor is 20.4, isn't it? I wrote down 60. Good thing I erased that, wasn't it? Calculator. I think we're going to find out here is the reason I don't have an RV. Besides the fact I don't want one. Wow.
$901.80.
Now keep in mind, this is just on the $45,000 heave. borrowed. This is not taxes or insurance or fuel costs or, well, this is interest. The interest is in there. That's a pretty decent house, but over more years, but
So when you.
be a
divide it
decent
by-
house payment. Yeah. What
when
now?
you divide it by the 1,000, that's just taking away the thousands.
Right.
So you're not multiplying like a big number, right?
Well, in this case, you just get rid of those zeros. Yeah. And the reason we do that is that's because that's the way the table's set up. Somebody pre-calculated this for us so that the table is given to us in terms of per thousand, it's this much. So every $1,000 costs $20.04. It's 7.5% interest over 60 months. So if you borrowed $8,000, you'd pay $20.04 a month. And if you borrow $45,000, you pay a lot of money. Okay? So that's number 11. Now the same thing would go here for a car. There's also, well, probably, yeah, like furniture. See, there's some things that you get short-term loans on, and some things that you get longer-term loans on. So the table 14.2, you'll notice it has times up to 60 months. Now, actually today, there's more and more car loans that they'll go 6 years or 7 years. So I guess we need a better table. And I think I pointed out to y'all, for all this, starting with, was it chapter 11 or 12, we started looking stuff up in the table, there is a mathematical formula for all these things. The thing with the table is somebody just sat down and worked out the numbers and wrote them down, put them in a table.
And we looked at.
Well, I don't think it's going to do y'all any good to learn how to put some of these things into your calculator. You're never going to do it again. So anyway, learn how to look stuff up at the table. So is everybody okay with this? Let's look at the next one. So this is number 12, isn't it? Looks like Les and Jess are buying a house for $120,000. They pay 20% down and finance the rest. 145? What did I say? 140? Really? Huh. Okay, 145. They pay 20% down and finance the rest at 5% for 20 years. How much is their monthly payment? Now, this is actually the same type of problem. The only things that are different are length. Well, we subtracted down payment on the,
Yeah, but this way.
on the
you gotta
RV?
figure out what 20%
oh, well,
is.
yeah,
And
we
that's-
can do that. We're good. We can do that.
You said the difference.
Oh, yeah, technically. I could have said they had $25,000 to put down, and then we've been right back just like the previous one. The differences is, if you look at the tables, if you're buying a house, the time is longer typically. And actually a lot of times the interest rate is lower. I think I mentioned this to you before. Buying a car on credit is a much riskier proposition to the lender than buying a house. You know, houses don't get stolen as much as cars do. Okay, so other than that, everything works the same. So step 0, I'll just, I have no idea what that really looks like. Step 0 is your amount financed. Now, in this case, the house itself is $145,000. We have 20% down. Now, we could figure out what 20% of $145,000 is, or we could do what? Remember that? 20% equals 0.20. The complement is 1 minus 0.2, which is 0.8. Okay, remember that? Okay, so we can get directly to the amount financed if we just multiply 145,000 by 0.8. So let's do that. Has anybody bought a house around here? So it looks like what, 116? And you can put zeros there if you want to. All right, is everybody okay with that? I was just curious if you look nationally, did we look that up one day to see what the average cost of a house nationwide is? It's a lot because you've got some.
We're like 210,000.
Yeah. But see, you got California, New York, New Jersey, Florida. You know, that drives the cost way up, the average way up.
That 116,000 right there is the amount that you're financing, right?
116.
So you, in order to find your down payment, if you needed to, you just take the 145 minus 116.
If you wanted to know the down payment, yeah, 145 times 0.2. So the down payment is going to be the difference between 145 and 116, which is actually, it's going to be $29,000 is the down payment. Because I looked at that, got 10% and doubled it. 14.5 would be 10%. You double it, you get 29. Okay. A lot of money. It's hard to come up with $29,000. Anyway, so that's what we're going to finance. So now we're back on, this is the next chapter, isn't it? This is chapter 15.
Was that the next set down here?
I don't know.
It says about a house mortgage.
We'll see in a minute how long.
Mortgage principal and interest for $1,000.
Okay. How long is your time? What's the maximum time it has there?
35 years.
Okay. That should work. As long as you got the right percentage there.
Yeah.
So step one, and we really don't have to look this up because it's just like chapter 14, although I need to get over here where the new table is. So step one would be to find how many thousands you have in what you're going to finance. So 116,000 divided by 1,000 is what? If you write poorly enough, people can't tell whether you spelled it right or not. I think that's right. I got started doing capital letters, and that threw me off. So our multiplier here is going to be 116. And step two is we've got how many years was it? 20 years. 5%. And I forgot to tell you this on the other one. Of course, it tells you on your sheet here. On this one, we're going to table 15.1. And we're looking for our table factor. And I'm going to abbreviate TF. I don't know why I've been doing that all along. I've just been making life hard on myself all semester. So 5%.
6.60.
What'd y'all get? I think we had that number before. I need to find a different percentage.
764.
So that's step 2, 3. Your monthly,
Would it be annual?
nope. Look at your table. What's the table say at the top?
Yearly.
No.
Oh, no.
Yes, this terms in years.
Well, no, that's just the way the table's set up.
Oh.
It doesn't tell you on this, but if you look back on 14.2,
Mm-hmm.
it actually notes that this is the monthly payment. I don't know why they didn't put it in this one, but this is what it is. This is your monthly payments. And we'll do some calculating here in a minute on this. So the monthly payment is what?
765.
116 times
6.60.
6.60. Calculator. I'm in the copy doing screenshots.
Okay, now it makes sense why it's. Oh, shit, we know which one it is.
Oh crap. He did this on me the other day. So it was 765.60. Now, let me do something real quick here. I got an error when I tried to copy that. And it said restart, so I'm going to. If I change that to 11, I think I got the right date on that. Let me shut this down and start it back up. Maybe I can cut and paste. And let's see if it works this time. See, let me do it that time. Now, I didn't ask you this here, but let's do a little thinking in case I need a few more points on the test. Let's do this. If you wanted to calculate the total paid on the loan, how would you do that? Well, see, it's that much per month times 12 months. Oops. 12 months in a year times how many years? Now watch what happens. That cancels that, that cancels that. Okay? Y'all should know by now how much I like canceling things. So the total is going to be $765.60 times 12 times 20. Huh? What'd y'all get? I got 183,744. That don't seem like enough, but there's all the numbers. But keep in mind, we borrowed 116. So it's, pretty much 50% of what we borrowed originally. So I'm pretty sure this is okay. 183, 744, even. And then if we wanted to do, the amount of interest, what would we do? The interest paid is 183,744 minus 116,000. So I'm gonna use the answer function on this because I've got lazy all of a sudden. Enter. So total interest on this loan is going to be $67,744. That's over 20 years. Now, as I pointed out before, until and unless the Congress changes the tax laws, you get to deduct this from your gross income. So we're looking at, roughly $3,000 a year you pay an interest. And if you had if you made $40,000 this year and paid $3,000 interest on your home loan, your gross would wind up to be $37,000. This gets subtracted off the top. So you're not paying income tax on what you spend on your home loan. Okay. Well, and if you're at 25% income tax, you're saving $750. I'm just trying to point out that, some of the benefits of owning your own home. And you can take that $750 this year and buy a new water heater.
Well,
There's many downfalls.
Yeah, I don't wanna own a house. It's a lot of effort.
Well, and a surprising amount of people, I guess it's surprising, have gotten to that point.
I mean, I would own a restaurant.
And that brings up an interesting point. Considering that most of us do not have infinite resources, it just depends on what you want to do with your money. And if you want to put it into a restaurant, then good for you.
Just make sure your restaurant has an apartment upstairs.
Now, I will, a lot of people are going to that. What I was going to tell D'Angelo is, unfortunately, most restaurants fail. Well, about half restaurants fail.
Isn't it, what it was like, 73% restaurants fail?
Yeah, it's pretty discouraging. If I was rich enough, I would start a restaurant. And I call it the Meat House.
Oh, I thought you said Fudge House.
Well, you got to have a good dessert. Anyway, so good luck with that. Let me know where you're at and I'll come eat with you. Because I'm tired of everything else in this town.
Well,
Now-
how come you don't come down on Fridays to cafe?
Takes too long. It takes too long. To get in and get out, you're
Some
looking
days.
most of 2 hours.
Some days you can get in, get out, other days you gotta wait.
Well, that's because I let old people gather down here. Volleyball.
Well, I'm old, but I got other things to do. Like, you're cutting into my nap time. Okay.
I bet Chef P would give you a
I can't think what it is, but the last time I was down there was some dessert that I'd heard about, seen on TV, and never did think that I had a chance of ever eating one And there it was on the menu, downtown Maysville. I was like, this is too cool. It was good too.
What was it?
I can't remember what it was.
Oh,
It was something like Baked Alaska, although that wasn't what it is. Something that you've heard of
mhm.
and would never have a chance in, to actually eat,
Uh-huh.
because you're never going to go anywhere fancy and
Right.
pay that much money for it.
Let me guess,
And
you
here it
went-
was, downtown Maysville. What?
You went to Fridays?
No, to the cafe.
Oh.
Yeah, the college cafe,
Yeah. When we opened
Friday.
it up.
Fridays.
Oh, yeah.
It's over for the semester now, but yeah, Friday for lunch.
Now I'll
Back
start
up in
being down
January
there.
the 18th.
I'll be down there.
Yeah, really, they got fancy food.
Too broke for fancy.
It's not.
It's
I
not
think
that,
the
it's,
most expensive thing I've seen on the menu was like $6.
it's not bad. You should try it. It's not bad. Yeah. It's only on Fridays.
I like that.
Now, let me show you something else here on these home loans. Because just in case you ever decide you're going to buy one, this is going to come up. So let me see what page this is on. They don't tell you too much about this. Let's see, what page is it on? It's just a very small section right here. And I really don't have to, I don't need to find it in the book. I can explain it to you otherwise. All right, I'll just explain it to you. It's somewhere in that book, somewhere chapter 15. So I'm just going to write extension to number, what was it, 12, wasn't it? Number 12. The property taxes on this house are, let's say they're $870 for the whole year. Okay? The insurance on this house, and what I'm talking about here is, this is, if a hurricane hits it or a tornado hits it or it burns down, that kind of insurance. And I have no idea what would be a good price. I'm just going to take a stab at it. I'm going to say it's $1,250 a year. By the way, you got to pay the property taxes, okay? That's not negotiable. Otherwise, the county who collects these can eventually get mad enough at you and sell you out, okay? You got to pay this. By the way, this typically goes to the public school system. It's where your property taxes go. The insurance, you also have to have that, or nobody's going to give you a loan. Because this insurance, although you're paying for it, is protecting their investment. Okay? So you got to have it. So if you add these two things up, so we got 870 plus 1250. What is something like 2120? Let's add those up. Now, this is a year. Now, here's what's going to happen. Typically, your lender will collect this from you in monthly installments. Now, this doesn't always happen, but the book talks about this. I have a loan on my house, and we pay both of these separately. But a lot of times the lender will want you to do this. In monthly installments. The money is put into an escrow account. Escrow is actually in today's crossword puzzle.
This might
In
sound
the Herald.
like a really dumb question, but what is that?
Escrow?
Yeah.
ESCROW?
Yeah, local.
It's we can look up the exact definition. It's an account set up to basically hold money. And what they'll do is, you're probably going to have to pay everything in advance the first year. And the second year, as you make your payments, the bank will, you'll see in a moment, we're going to divide this by 12 and add it to our monthly payment. So the bank will take the payment. They'll also take, whatever this is divided by 12 and put it in an escrow account. And then at the end of the year, they'll pay your taxes, your property taxes, and they'll pay your insurance. Okay? Because actually right now it's their house. It's not your house. They're just using your money. Let's look up escrow. Search the web. Let's see. Let's just check Wikipedia. An escrow is a contractual arrangement in which a third party receives and disperses money or documents for the primary transacting parties. So in this case, the bank or your lending agency is the third party. They're going to collect the homeowners or whoever's making the payments on the house or the home. They're going to hold that money at an appropriate time. They're going to disperse it to third parties, being the county tax collector or the insurance company. So it's a place to hold money for some purpose or other. So let's calculate the monthly charge here. So you take the total of all these expenses. Now I've done insurance and property taxes. I don't know of any examples when there would be more than that. Divide it by 12. Now keep in mind, there are more expenses. There's the monthly water bill, garbage collection, electricity, gas, if you're heating with gas, etc. So there's a lot more to this. I'm just telling you what you got to send to the bank. And I can understand if you're thinking, boy, I'm just going to rent. Let somebody else worry about the water heater. I need a new water heater if you're wondering why I'm stressing on this water heater. So it looks like to me, every month.
You said like $200.
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to, you're roughly $200 a month for property taxes and insurance. Our payment here was how much? $765.60. So to the bank per month is gonna be $765.60 plus $176.67. So add to that 765.60. What happened to my answer? I must not have done that. Take screenshot. That's better. Okay. Let me move this. Oh, I didn't write down the answer, did I? Duh. $942.27. Yeah, it is expensive. Now, let me show you something else. And this is not on the test. So is everybody okay with what we did so far? The extension of this is whatever your property taxes is plus whatever your insurance is per year. Add those two, divide by 12. Add that to your monthly payment. Okay, pretty simple. Let me show you something else. Let's assume here that we borrowed money on this house. We bought this house. Let's assume we bought this house. And let me show you something. I'll get back on this page over here. There's a thing, we hope, called appreciation. Now, you're sitting there thinking, I know what appreciation is, and I don't get much of it. But in this case, appreciation is the opposite of depreciation. Depreciation, or depreciation, is what happens if you buy a new car and drive it off the lot. What happens? Well, now it's a used car. It's not worth as much. It depreciated. So this is the opposite. This is going up in value over time. So here's what we're going to do. Assume, and y'all don't have to do this. I'll do it for you and show you what the numbers are. And I don't know. I haven't worked them out yet. Assume, how much you think the value of a home goes up every year? And typically it goes up. Now, every once in a while there's a hiccup.
Like every year?
Like every year. Assuming you maintain.
$1,000.
No, well, I want a percentage.
Oh,
How about
10%.
how about 3?
That seems right.
And we could actually look this up and see what it is traditionally. Assume 3% increase per year. And here's what the formula looks like. And I'm going to do. We looked at this for 20 years. Here's the way you do this. It's $145,000 times 1.03 raised to the 20th power.
The average house goes up 5.4%.
Really? You want to change this to 5%? Let's change it to 5%. I didn't need to erase that, but I did. Let's assume 5%. That makes it even better. 1.05. And the 20 is, this happens 20 times, once a year for 20 years. This 5 here is that, the 100% plus the extra 5. That's where the 1.05 comes from. And obviously the $145,000 is what it was when we started. So I'll work this out. You don't have to worry about putting it in your calculator. By the way, this is a problem we would do in college algebra. So it's really not that hard. 145,000 times 1.05. And to raise it to the 20th power, I use that little thing that looks like a hat and put 20 there. And so if it kept on increasing at 5%, in 20 years, it'd be worth that much money. Now, if you look at it like that, it's not that bad a deal, is it? By the way, I think I told y'all this. A rule of thumb, how long does it take something to double? You take the percentage as a whole number and divide it into 70 or 72. It's actually 72. 70 gets you really close. So 5 into 70 goes 14 times. So over the course of 14 years, we would expect our $140,000 to double. So our $145,000 doubles in 14 years at 5%. Okay, so that gives us what, 290? 290,000, and then we've got 6 more years. That's how we got up to $384,000. So as long as property values are going up, homeowning looks pretty sweet. Now, every once in a while, there's a hiccup. So you get a tax break, and hopefully your property appreciates over time because of a number of things. You know, there's only so much land, etc. There's more people. There's the same number of houses, or not as big. Of course, they build houses every day, but still. And you might go ask your parents, how many people their parents own their home. If you ask them what they give for it 30 years ago, it's probably not that much. And if you look at it now, you think, gosh, that house is worth, $120,000 for it, and they give $30,000 for it. Yeah, 30 years ago. And they've hung on to it, kept it up. That's worth $120,000. If everything works like it should. Famous last words. Okay? So, and I'm not sure that every house would appreciate 5% a year. Let's work this a little different. What if it only went up 3%? All I got to do is change one number. 3% is $260. Yeah, it ain't bad. So this is just another one of the advantages of, owning your own home. Okay? Well, again, it's what you want to do with your time.
See, I have two of my friends, they're together, and they bought a house, and they're like a year older than mine. I don't know how much they paid.
Well, it does. A lot of this depends on what you want to do with your time. If you want to come home and worry about the water heater and the roof, or if you want to come home and watch TV and let the landlord worry about all this stuff. But this is one of the advantages of, buying a home when you get a certain age. It's like, that house is worth a lot more now than it was when I bought it. And of course, it was tough to pay for it, but hey, it's worth a lot of money now. So. All right. Which problem do you want to work on now? We got a few minutes. And the rest of these you can look at between now and Thursday, and we'll work the rest of them on Thursday. Which one jumps out at you? You want to just arbitrarily work backwards? Let's do that. We'll work backwards. Let's go to 10.
10?
Yeah.
Why'd you put all the hard ones on one page?
Hmm?
Why'd you put all the hard ones on one page?
Well, you know what makes something hard? It's hard if you don't understand it.
I'm just listening.
If you do understand it, it's not hard.
And you're making it hard. You're trying to mess with it, and you're making it hard.
Oh, sorry.
Why you gotta be picking on me?
I'm not sure I deserve to be picked on. All right, let's look at number 10. And this is from chapter 13. Somebody's conveniently put on there, this is from 13. How about that? Your parents want to retire to Florida. Now, they're obviously nuts. If they want to go to Florida, they're nuts. Yeah. Plus, I think there's a lot of crazy people out there. They would like to be able to draw $24,000 a year for the next 25 years from an annuity. How much would they need to invest now at 5% to be able to do this? It's the present value problem of annuity. Now, think about what an annuity is. There's future value annuities and there's present value annuities. With a future value annuity, you make regular contributions to this annuity, and over time, not only are you adding to the annuity, you're also drawing interest on what you've already contributed. Okay, so if you're just looking at a compound interest problem, that just assumes you got a lump sum of money and you deposit it and then walk off. With annuity, you're either constantly or regularly contributing, or regularly, in this case, withdrawing. Okay, so that's the deal.
So, but they're wanting to know how much they need to put in, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And with all these, you want to ask yourself the question, what don't I know? In this case, we don't know what we have to put in. So that makes it a present value problem. We want to know how much money we need in the present to make this $24,000 a year for 25 years work. Okay? So this is a present value problem. And look, somebody even tells you which table to go to. Ooh, how cool is that?
Thank you, Mr. Case.
And you're giving me a hard time. So let's go back to 13.
It's only 'cause I like you.
You know, I tell my kids that. If people don't like you, they don't talk to you. You know, my son gets mad sometimes because people pick on him. Yeah, people I don't like, I don't even talk to. Okay, so there. Let's see, present value is on the table. It tells you how to do this is on page 330. There's step ones. It's a 1, 2, 3 thing. So what we're shooting for here is 24,000 a year, 25 years, and we've invested at what, 5%? Is that right? 5%. Now, notice here on page, whatever that page number was, I said 330. Step 1 says figure the number of periods, in this case the number of periods we're going to withdraw, and it's got to tell us that there too. Oh, it says $24,000 a year, so that's just annual, isn't it? So this is an annual thing. I'll just write that in blue. So we need to figure out how many periods and then what the percent per period is going to be. So the periods equals 25 years. And technically there's one period per year because this is annual. Cancel, cancel. So we're going to have 25 periods. Okay. Now the rate per period is going to be pretty easy too. It's 5% per year, and there's one period per year. The per years cancel out there. I proved that to you one day. So that is the answer right there. I don't need to put express equal. It's 5%. Okay. So that's step one. Step two, I think if you look at the book, step two says go what to the table? And this is table 13.2, isn't it?
Yeah.
So from table 13, I mangled that, didn't I? 13.2. If you have 25 periods and 5%, your TF, your table factor, is what? Oh, let's see, 25 and what was it? 5%? What'd you get? Table 13.2. That's what it looks like to me. 14.0939 to 4 decimal places. Is that what y'all found that? Okay. Now this is actually in the handout. Okay. All right, so everybody got that? And then on 330 it says step 3, multiply the withdrawal for each period by this table factor. This gives the present value of your ordinary annuity. So we want 20, so present value, and this is how much we have to sock away now at 5%. Now once we put this in, we can start drawing out of it. And we can draw $24,000 a year for 25 years before it runs out of money. Because it's making 5% a year. So keep that in mind. So we've got 24,000 times 14.0939. Clear? 24. 14.0939. Somehow I think I need a zero there, don't I?
Yes.
Well, why isn't it? You got to hit the zero if you want the zero. I kept hitting the decimal point. Boy, keep trying the same thing, expect a different result. So, got that right. $338,253.60.
That's how much you'd have to pay in?
Yeah, if you could sock that away right now, today, at 5%, you could draw $24,000 a year for the next 25 years before you sucked it all down. Now keep in mind, you're withdrawing every year, but you're also getting a certain amount of interest to build it back up. So two things are going on. You're taking withdrawals, but you're also getting interest earned. Okay? So let me fix that. It's bothering me. I kind of mangled that 3. $253.60. I didn't do much better the second time, did I? So is everybody okay with what this means? If you had that much money right now, you could withdraw, if you had this amount of money invested in a solid 5%, you could withdraw that much every year for 25 years. Now, we haven't discussed the tax implications here because the government's going to want their cut of this. But I'm not sure how that would work. If you already had that money, you've already paid taxes on it. So you're probably okay there. Now, it'd be a little different if this was a retirement account because retirement accounts are tax deferred. You don't pay money on what you put into your retirement account now. You pay on it when you draw it out. Well, the assumption is that when you draw it out, you're going to be making less income and therefore be in a lower tax bracket. So that's the assumption there. This is based on the fact that, hey, I just got $340,000 sitting around. I'm going to sock it away. Okay? So, y'all look over the rest of these and then we'll work them. We might as well just keep on working backwards on Thursday. Okay? And any other questions? And be thinking about whether you want to have an extra review day next Tuesday and have the test on Thursday. I don't care. I can go either way. It does not bother me to have an extra review day because I like you guys. By the way, I am going to miss you all. You are a really good class.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. Sometimes people, you get wind up in a class full of fuddy-duddies and you just can't have any fun.
Can't have no fun with them.
Bye, ladies.
So we're not fuddy-duddies.
No, you're not fuddy-duddies.